What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Vital Conversations here on the Fandoms Anonymous YouTube channel. This is a very vital series, no pun intended, where we talk about a lot of monumental things, whether it be through life, whether it be through everyday experience. We try to keep it real and keep it copacetic on this show. Our first episode, we talked about networking and how vital it is in everyday life with what everyone does. No matter who you are or what you do, networking will continue to help you survive. And today we're talking about support. And yes, that is sometimes a part of networking, but it goes a little bit deeper. And I got two people on here. You guys know my man Jeremy from the 2020 podcast. What's going on, Jeremy?
Nothing much, brother. You already know. I'm definitely here for the conversation. This is just one of those passion projects that I love doing. So I can't wait to crack this book open and get to speak on it.
Well, that's it. And I got my man Ian from the Controversity. What's going on, Ian?
Hey, love, peace, and chicken grease, man. It's always a pleasure to collaborate with you, brother.
Man, let's do this. Now, if you guys don't know, all of us here on this podcast, in this episode, we are all content creators in some way, shape, form, and or fashion. And we wanted to come together and talk about the struggles, the theories, the myths when it comes to support. I'm going to let my man Jeremy kick this one off. Jeremy, let us know some of the struggles that you've had. And that's what we're going to start off. We're going to start off getting to the nitty gritty, to that gristle in that bone. Let's get off on that point. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I'll be glad to. With any venture that you personally have a stake in, anything that you take as a passion product, anything you take that's a part of you and you share it with the world. One of the things that people may not understand is that it can be a scary venture to take something personal and share it with the world for them to view and critique and input on. That is a daunting task within itself. Now, the second part of that, if you receive the response that you're looking for, congratulations, I'm proud of you, I'm glad to see you doing something positive, that feels great initially. However, to keep that boat afloat, we need the support from those of you, should I say, who critique, who watch, who may not necessarily have a huge impact on what we create, but how we go about creating, just our audience in general. The impact it has on us is when we're not receiving that support or something's not getting the traction we expect. It can create stress for us because we're wondering what the disconnect is. What could it be? Is it, the time of day we're releasing the content? Is it the topics? Is it the audience? What is the disconnect? What can we do to get you back involved like you initially were when we announced the project? Personally, only having skin in the game for a year and a half, I'm quite new to this. But in this past year, I've learned that there are a lot of cheerleaders and not a lot of workers, if that makes sense. There are a lot of people on the sideline who will cheer all day, but if you ask for a hand to help or cultivate or, leave a lasting impression, sometimes they can be hard to find. Then the excuses come, and it makes you wonder, how much of a priority is this project to you, knowing how much it is to me. So that's just one of the many aspects I go through personally. So I just want to pass it along to possibly Ian. What you think, bro?
Oh, man, I think you hit a lot of nails, man. A lot of things you were saying gave me flashbacks because I've been doing this for like 2 years. When you said stuff like, the cheerleaders on the sidelines, and then when it's come time to play, they're like, they be disappearing, or, it just takes a while for them to respond back. And, at first you do take that kind of personal, and we're all artists. We get insecure. We get sensitive at times. No matter as men, we want to admit that we want to pretend like that's not a thing, but it's really a thing when it comes to, especially people that do content. But at the same time, we got to realize sometimes it's really not personal when they don't see the vision that we see, and when it comes to what we've laid down in our mind or on paper. So I do get a little depressed sometimes when, like, I might put in a lot of work on a project and people might not give me the feedback that I wanted. Shoot, I put like no time and effort into stuff, and I get a lot of feedback, and that just really confuses the heck out of me. But that's the beauty of art, man. Our vision is not what other people's vision are. So it sucks that as content creators, we gotta sometimes be fishing, just throw stuff out there until it gets a nibble. And the problem with that, I feel, is just like, then you lose like the love and passion for what you do because you're just trying to please others and not yourself. So it gets tricky when it comes to the support but also not losing yourself to get lost in the sauce, if that makes any sense. So
now, for me on this end, I echo a lot of cheerleaders, workers. And you don't want it to make it seem like you're just looking for people to work for you or do certain things for you. But when you deeply look at what's being asked or requested, it's basically just a simple click of a button.
Yeah.
And you might think that is minute, but it carries so much weight because we all do it every day. We share videos from Wild and Out. We share videos from other content creators. We share videos from Kev on Stage. We share stupid videos. We share fighting videos. We share we share everything. We will click share on babies singing. My favorite thing to click share on is my man Ravir Singh singing my favorite Indian Bollywood song, Ta 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 Ta. Y'all know that is my jam, that is my hit. You know what I'm saying? So why can't we hit share on what our friends do? If we can use that word friends.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can use, we'll say acquaintances. People that, as Facebook says, people that we may know.
Right.
Why can't we just click a share button? But here's the kicker. And I know all of you have it. As soon as you do something that person or that group of individuals like, all of a sudden you're a social media content guru god.
Oh my goodness.
Which one of you have dealt with that before?
Oh man. I mean, I haven't gone extremely viral at the moment yet, but I've had some people just like claim me out the blue, like, oh, that's my dog, I'm rooting for you, and they'll just think hi you, and you're like, hey, what did you think of my last video? Oh, I didn't see it. What's my name of my channel? What are you talking about? It would hurt me less if you just said, I don't pay attention. I would love to start, give me all the info, but don't pretend, bruh. Like, come on, man.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest insult to injury is when they try to kind of lie their way through it. You've already fronted once, and when you create that first lie, you got to create a second and a third and a fifth, and so on. It's funny, and it's so crazy to me that a lot of times I guess I'll inspire them in some fashion to inquire about starting their own podcast.
I've been there.
And oh my goodness, that's the one that hurts. So I'll get passionate, and I'll just give them all of the information I have, every shortcut, every book link, every bookmark I can, and then as soon as hey, can you share this on your page? No reply.
Nah, they working on them. They use your formula. That hurts. I get it.
Yeah, it feels like a betrayal, but I will do it every time, honestly. And I guess that's my impasse. It's I'm always going to help. always, and no matter what, because I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate to leave my mark. Whether I inspire you directly or indirectly, I'm going to keep doing it. It's just every now and again, the car that got you started may need a little gas. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to pass it back to Malcolm.
That's something a lot of people don't understand. They really don't. I get it all the time. I can make all types of videos, all types of content, post it, share it to my personal page or my Fandoms Anonymous page. People will see it. They might hit a like on it. And sometimes I go through the extra mile of tagging 50 billion people in it. And they probably are still not going to watch it. But let me go to a convention and I post a picture with the great one, Jason David Frey, a.k.a. Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I go into God. Oh yeah, my boy Malcolm, he out there with the Power Rangers, man. He doing big things. Well, where were you when I posted my video on Clickbait? Or where were you when I just posted a random video about a movie review? Once I do something that's part and parcel connected to what you like, then all of a sudden I become your guy or my guy or my boy. It doesn't work like that. That's not support, because you're sharing all these other groups, you're sharing all these other pages, you're clicking share on all these other things. What excludes me from being included under that list? There are a lot of people I know on Facebook right now who are doing big things. Girl I know named Nia Westbrook. She's not only doing lashes, she's also doing a lingerie line that she's selling. And she's come against a few things herself, just, wanting people to support. So when I see, there's nothing I can do with the eyelash. There's absolutely nothing I can do with them. And I don't think people understand. Sometimes what you are asking to be shared might not even fit your bill. But that doesn't mean it doesn't fit the other 1,000 people that scroll past your post on Facebook that might see it as they might like. So just because I can't do nothing with eyelashes, don't mean I can't hit that share button. And then 50 girls that I know that scroll past my post through their timeline can be like, oh, eyelashes. Okay, yeah, click. I need to buy some. That's all it takes. My sister, Indy Davis, who has her own skincare, body care, beard care, healthy line of cosmetic products, bath, anything you could. She does more work than Bath and Body Works, basically. All I gotta do is hit share. All I gotta do is post a picture and say, hey, my beard is growing because I used this beard oil. Or my wife enjoyed the bath she took with the bath bomb. It's that easy. And vice versa.
It's those little things, man.
It's so small. Yeah. People want to ride the waves but don't want to help you stir the water. Ooh.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
Somebody say
it almost feels like, and I hate to say it that way, it feels like you have to ruffle feathers almost sometimes in the wrong way in order to get attention. Like you have to shake the box sometimes, like, hey, look at me, I'm out here doing something positive. And even as little tying in networking a little bit, you never know how it may even benefit you. You may save someone's life. Like, for instance, India, who has the line Blendia by India, just by sharing posts and things like that, she was able to get products to a little girl who had a skin condition, who wasn't able to use regular soaps and products like that. That blew my mind, just hearing that. And the way they found out was just through sharing. So you can really affect someone's lifestyle just by sharing. It like you said, something as small as a click. All it takes is something to catch your eye one time and could change someone's life potentially forever.
Now, Ian, you just did something today on your social media that just took me and my man Jerry by storm. I want you to explain your most recent video and break it down. Break it down for us.
So I'm a content creator, and I'm still like trying to find my niche, I guess. But like mostly, my main thing is I love movies, television, and music. I've been trying to just do my YouTube stuff around that, but sometimes you got to study others to see what works, because then you'll see you'll see something take off, and you're just like, really, that take off? But you got to look for that certain formula, and I've been looking for that formula for like 2 years, and I've come to the moment in my life I'm just like, man, I am so tired of trying to mix this pot, and it's just becoming like a nasty soup. I just want to do what I want to do. So I just did like a parody pretty much today of what everybody wants out of me. And I did it. I just did like, hey, this is me going crazy in my intro, or this is me doing something shocking, or hey, this is my unnecessary sponsorship, and this is what you guys claim to want, so I'm gonna give you everything that you claim to want. But I did it just so over the top and silly, and I brought my girlfriend and my son involved, and I thought, it was one of the funniest videos I felt like I've made on my channel, and I had a great time doing it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, from watching the video, Malcolm first told me about it, and it was like, hey, check out this video. We were just literally talking about this last night. And so I go and check it out. And the first thing I always do, if I ever come into contact with a creator and they have something that catches my attention, instantly subscribe. So I kid you not, Ian, in the first, I will say, 48 seconds of your video, I felt you immediately and subscribed. I was like, he hit the nail on the head. The bit with making a parody. Oh, this is me in a dress. I'm in a dress. This is hilarious. This is what you want. And man, oh, here's a prank. Oh, you guys want a prank? Let's do a prank. And I was floored. I was literally rolling laughing, but I felt it's kind of like a playful sarcasm, but I felt the message to it.
There was a lot of truth. Yeah, I'm glad you understood it. Like, it was all jokes. It was all playful, but behind every joke, there's always some truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting that, and I'm glad you understood what the art was from that.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear from you guys. What do you think people miss about support when it comes to supporting content creators, small business owners, people that they know? What do you think people miss, or their misconceptions, or the other notion that, oh, that's just somebody, my homeboy, his YouTube channel, or she has a small business, or he got a podcast. Oh, that's my homeboy. What do you think people are missing?
That's you want to go first on that one, brother?
I'll take a shot at it. I'll take a shot.
Okay.
Steph Curry this thing real quick. So I wrote this down before we had this conversation. I grabbed a couple of note cards because I'm old school, and I wrote down a couple things that I felt, and this was the first thing that came to mind. Have you guys seen the movie Us?
Yes.
It's like the Hands Across America idea is kind of like what's going on here. The support should be there, but everyone's kind of like passing the buck along. It's like, I would share, but I'm sure he's got enough followers to share him. Somebody else will do it. Somebody else will do it. And the next person does that. And the next person does that. And the next person does that. It's like they're not sharing because they think that someone else will do it. But they don't understand the gravitas of themselves doing it. I don't think they understand that them taking that initial step to have the courage to do so, I guess, is the most important step of all, because you create a chain reaction. Because sometimes people look at things by how many people have liked it, how many people have reacted to it. I'll give you an example. I recently took a picture showing the differences in weight because I've been doing my health tip. And one by one, I had like 10 likes, then 40 likes, then 70 likes, than 102 likes in like 24 hours. And I'm like, wow. So, right. And I'm thankful, but can I get the same energy when I put out a podcast episode talking about mental health? You know, can I get that same energy when we're talking about relationships and the importance of communication? You know, can we get that same energy across the board when we're really making a difference in our community? So that's just me. I'm going to pass it to EV.
Absolutely. From my point of view, though, and I could be completely wrong because I don't want to speak for others. From my point of view, I feel like it might be people just don't take it serious. Like whenever we put out content or we put out our ideas, they might think it's just like a hobby, or like, oh, that's cute. He's making videos. He's got this poetry, or he's got this stuff about mental illness, or like these comic cons. Oh, that is something cool that he gets to go in there. But I'm not gonna put it on like a Kev on Stage level or a Tony Baker level, because he's not there. Without the support of or the idea, the mindset of I would like him to be on that level, and I can support him as much as I can. But I feel like they look at us on this level and they're just like, all right, this is your lane, and we're just going to give all of our attention to this. That's all I see. Like, they just don't take us serious, and we all seem like friendly guys. I'm not the type of person I would just blow up on somebody and just debate or argue for no reason. So, but I just feel like that is one big reason right there. Just like, I don't know, a lot, and not just us. I feel like a lot of artists in general aren't being treated seriously, because like I said earlier, our vision of the world might be different than somebody else's vision from a person's stand of view that's just watching in at our content. So, and I actually used to do I did a little stand-up comedy, and whenever I started doing stand-up, I used to open up for these comedians that did open up for the big comedians. I was like the host of the show. I never really actually did stand. I did like 5 minutes, but anyways, I would talk to these guys all the time and be like, hey, have you ever met Chappelle? Have you ever met Murphy? Have you ever met Louis C.K. and stuff like that? And they were like, yeah. And they were like on my level, but they were just talking about all the stuff that they've done, and I was humbled by it, but I felt the sadness in their voices when people would mention the other comedians, and they were just so hype about it. But these are other people that have been working in the game for like 20 years, and it made me sad a little bit just hearing stuff like that. Like, man, you working hard, but you're still in these guys' shadows. And maybe they didn't get the certain support that we are, talking about, that we feel that us and other content makers deserve. So that's just, I rambled a little bit, my bad, but that's how I feel like, our level is not being treated seriously.
Right.
Why do you guys think we're not being taken seriously?
That's a good question, man. I mean, there's only as much as we can do, man. I mean, I feel like I can do as much as I can without selling my soul. I don't know.
I agree with you, brother. You I feel you. And I'm laughing, but I'm laughing out of kind of a nervous reaction, because I agree. I think everyone kind of underestimates you. I feel like every now and again, I feel like the audience looks at me and is like, oh, okay, you got your podcast, and that's cute. But I don't feel like I'm giving that respect, because sometimes when I have to explain to other people like what we do and what we talk about, I get the comparison. I get, so y'all like a smaller version of the Breakfast Club. And I'm like, so I can totally feel where those comedians were coming from. It's like you're trying to find your own lane, but at the same time, people are measuring you to this gigantic star, and you're trying to get there. You're trying to get your foot in the door. You're trying to make your imprint to get noticed, but it's the traction isn't as much as you want. Now, I will say this. I'm gonna take a moment and say no disrespect to my hardcore fans, because I do have a few that will share absolutely everything I do. And to those of you who do that for us on behalf of of all three of our own entities, we thank you. You have no idea how much we appreciate that. And we do take notice of who you are, whether it be a comment, a share, a like, a follow. We take that to heart. That really shows how much you believe in our product and how far you're willing to go with us. You're willing to take time to dedicate your time to our product. So we're not trying to belittle you guys at all. We definitely appreciate what you guys are doing.
That's real, and that goes double for me. I do have my followers and fan base and friends that just uplift me every time I do something. So thank God for you guys. I appreciate all the love and support, and I definitely will never forget it.
It's just a reflex for me sometimes because I might not even catch the title of what either one of you have just dropped. But I saw that you dropped something. I just hit the share button.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even catch the title. I just know it was a new post that I didn't see on my Facebook timeline 20 minutes ago. Oh, Jeremy did something. Boop. It's that easy. Now I have to go back later on, when I got a little bit more time, like, okay, he's talking about communication, or he's talking about, love and, being nice, being kind, or Ian is talking about a new controversial topic. But it takes just that small, minute thing. Sometimes I think people don't take us serious because they look at who we are and who they know us to be instead of what it is that we are actually doing. It took a long time for people to start saying, your YouTube channel. Oh, when you go to the Comic-Cons, the old folks, so they say, you go to the Comic-Con. Comic-Con. Or your little convention. Not little conventions, ma'am. This is the way of life now.
Right.
And that's what we want to put out there. Support is easy to do. It's not something that's hard. Take what we do seriously. That's what we're preaching basically today.
Basically, yeah.
For your business, your best friend that that runs the business. Don't get mad because she's doing something and you're not. You're not about to get up off your butt in time soon to do it. Hit the share button.
That's real.
That's what happens a lot of times. All we are asking, whether it be content creators, video makers, photographers, small business owners, whatever it is that you do, the only thing that's being asked is just hit a share, hit a like, hit a comment, just do it. It's so easy. It's so easy. Now, what I'm about to say next, I know it's gonna ruffle some feathers, but it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. And Ian, I want you to take this.
Thank you.
We get more support from strangers that we've never met than the people that we spent 15 plus years of our life with. Go ahead, Ian.
Man, and that really does hurt too. Like, seriously. And I know why you put me on that one, because there's a little part I had in my video. I like that. So yeah, that does hurt, because these are people that I make these videos, and these are one of the first people I expect to, they don't even have to share a comment. I would expect just feedback, like give me a call or a text and say, hey, yo, I'm digging that. And these people know who I am. And then when I see strangers from like Colorado and Texas and Alabama and New York commenting, I'm like, I mean, that's awesome that it reached that far, but like, bruh, my neighbor next door can't say nothing, can't say, talk. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. The guy that's in my phone that I've known for years, like, you can't give me some feedback or you can't share my stuff. It just blows my mind. That is really heartbreaking. As much as it does humble me that it reaches maybe even overseas to other people, it really does break my heart that, like, my friends that, I'll give you an example too. Like when you hit the ball at like t-ball practice, and you're like, "Hey, mom, did you see that?" That's kind of like how an adult feels sometimes when you get your friends and family like, "Yo, I put in like all-nighter, 12 hours on this video. Did you see that big homie that I went to high school with? Nah, man, I was smoking weed and watching TV. I didn't care nothing about that. Wow, thank you, appreciate it. I mean, it does, and we can complain about it all day. I mean, things don't change sometimes, and sometimes we just got to realize, I guess, we have a new demographic. We got to make sure we contain this new fan base we got all over the world, or, these people that you don't even know, these strangers, like, okay, well, this is the support I'm getting. Well, then, okay, I will not forget that, And it's hard, it's easier said than done, by the way, because I still insecurely want that validation from some of my friends and family, but, you can't put a gun to their head, you know what I'm saying? So, but it is stressful.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, and it's funny, you would expect your friends and family to the biggest proponents of what you're doing, and when they're not a part of it, you can feel like that kid that's left at the park after practice waiting on your parents to come, like, man, so do they not love me like they said they did, So, going back to the original point about a stranger, I actually have an interesting story, and I'm going to make it as quick as possible. So in the first year that we started this podcast last year, I had really dedicated it to our demographic, which was, teens to mid-30s, in the African-American community. So I was doing interviews of, African-American business owners, entrepreneurs, events, gospel artists, regular artists, just anyone in our community who was doing something positive. And one day I got an email, and this email was by a young lady by the name of Dosha Miscove. Now, I'm not trying to classify anybody by their name, but with that name, I figured that they were not African American, and it kind of caught me off guard. So we set an interview, and we sat down, and I kid you not, it was one of the best interviews I've ever conducted. And when we got to the end of the interview, we stopped recording. We were just wrapping up. And she told me, she said, hey, I just want to let you know, I've actually been listening to your podcast up to this point and had been waiting to do this interview. But, just wanted to see where you guys were going. And she actually invited us as a podcast to take part in our first Mardi Gras convention. This is an convention where companies from all over the world come to Mobile to set up a booth and kind of show the world what Mardi Gras is like, inviting vendors from New Orleans, from New York, Texas, Montana even. And here we are, just a Mobile-based podcast amongst so many other business owners for free, and she still shares our content to this day. So to Dosha Miscove, I absolutely love you.
That's a good story, bro.
Yeah, Ian, you have any stories like that, Ian?
Oh, yeah. I got there was this, it's kind of a similar story. So there's this guy named Andy Signor. I don't know if you guys were a fan of Screen Junkies. He was the content creator of Screen Junkies on his trailer. He created that. But he recently was, about 2 years ago, he was fired and he was let go. He was part of the canceled Me Too movement because he was accused of sexual assault and all that stuff. And they just let him go. And he was part of that firing, and people didn't want to mess with him. But I looked into his story a little bit, and I realized this might not have been actual sexual assault. I think this was a little bit more of a misunderstanding. It wasn't like Weinstein or all these other guys that recently hit the news. And he actually, this month, he put out a video and exposed that this situation was not what it was, and he cleared his name, which I was proud of him because nobody wants to go down in history as a sexual assaulter or a rapist.
Right.
But I was one of the few people that continued to collaborate with this guy, no matter, and I got a lot of crap for it. Nobody wanted, sitting next to this guy did not make me friends. But I knew if I was in that situation and he was really stressed and lonely, that I wouldn't want a friend, and I was there for him during this situation, and eventually when he cleared his name, his stuff skyrocketed. Like, he went from, like, I think he had like maybe 20,000 subscribers on his channel. He went from like millions of subscribers. He was making good money when he was on Screen Junkies to like the bottom of the totem pole. But whenever he cleared his name, he skyrocketed up. And I've made so many videos with this guy. Just being attached to him, it gave me a lot of clout, and it gave me like a lot of new fan bases just from being next to him. And it just showed, like, wow. I mean, I'm glad he gave me a chance to even talk to him, because he's made millions of dollars just doing content, and I'm just a little YouTuber. But it just showed, like, a great collaboration, no matter what anybody else thinks, can go a long way, you know. And I know it's kind of different from what he just said about a follower and stuff like that, but it was just a very humbling story of mine. It brought me to a next level for making an unusual friendship.
If I may interject, I think that's a great example of being support when you were needed. So you reciprocated, you know, what essentially you have been receiving. So whenever you were able to extend that arm and, you know, create a lane for him to kind of continue to go back to his grassroots, you know, clear his name, still continue to do the things that he loved, which is create content, you kind of probably lit a fire on him. Was like, hey, you know, maybe everybody doesn't feel that way. Maybe I still do have, you know, my support system. And you personified that. So kudos to you, brother.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on that. Absolutely. He had down days, and I helped him through his things, and it went up, and it kind of did return the favor. Like, I was helping him, and after he blew up, and he's in the limelight right now. Everybody's enjoying him. His story is amazing. You guys can check it out. Hit up Andy Stignor, and it's an interesting story. But like I said, I think the favor was returned just by standing next to him and helping him out, and now he's the son that I'm next to. Like, oh, okay, I'm getting a little bit. He's just standing next to me. So it humbled me a little bit. Like, all right, let me keep this going, because I got a little bit of a new fan base. And these are strangers, by the way, too, not my friends.
Jeremy, why do you think strangers gravitate more to us than our own people when it comes to?
Well, it's kind of like that situation where you ever been approached by an adult, you know, that's like, man, I remember you when you was a baby. I think it's the same thing, essentially. I think it's that I still see you as little cuz, you know, little nephew, little brother. So, you know, when you're a kid and you show them a picture you drew, oh, that's cute, just put it on the refrigerator, but you don't think nothing of it. I think it's the same thing, but they don't understand the gravity or the psychology that it leaves behind with us. It's like, okay, you see that I'm trying, but are you taking me serious? You know, it's that mindset of all I see is my relative or my homeboy here. I don't see a prominent figure, you know, in the future. I don't see a YouTuber. I don't see a big-time podcaster. I just see Jeremy, you know. And I think that's what it is. You know, they see us with one hat. They associate us with one aspect, and it's hard to break that shell sometimes.
And that's one of the things that makes it difficult. Like, I get that you know me from way back when. I get that you know who I am. I get that you might have changed a diaper or two of mine. I get that we grew up together. I get that we went to high school together. I get that every type of piece of relationship that we've had, I get it. Yeah, through and through, I'm still that guy. I'm still that person that you know. But look at what I'm doing. What I'm doing does not equate to who you know. And that's what happens a lot of times. We're equated to, they're equalized. When they're not, mathematically, they don't make sense. They don't even go together.
That's real.
And I think that's what can hurt sometimes. And it, just as much as you love getting that support from those strangers or those new acquaintances or those new followers that you don't know anything about, just as much as it is good, it still is in a position of where it still kind of hurts. Because you wished that everybody that you know would just hit the share button on your stuff too.
Right.
Where who knows what ventures that we could get to if all of the friends on our timeline, not all of them, but a good majority of them, would share what we do over sharing what Tony Baker does. And that's nothing against Tony Baker or Kevin on stage or any other. Yes, not Tony Baker. Or any other type of content creator or person on the internet. But who knows where that would take us if all of those people that we know share our stuff just as vigorously as they share the known creators or the known people. Just think of where we could be. Because if you're part of that circle with me, and I go somewhere, and I notice that you were part of that movement, you go on with me.
It's real.
And I don't think some people understand that. There are a lot of people who have traveled this path of mine that I have been on since December 2016, and that have benefited from it, and that have been able to take this ride with me since I started. There are a lot of people. I'm not here to name any names or anything, but a lot of people. And you look at those people and you do have nothing but thanks and adoration for them. But what about the others? What about the others? Because when I go to a convention, I'm not trying to take everybody with me. You know, it's even got to a point where you're connected with some people, and you might just be hitting them up to say, hey, and they don't answer. Or they might have seen you call, but they don't call back. When the next con comes up, hey, what's up with the passes? I don't know, go to the website.
Boom.
The info is there for you there. That right there in itself hurts a lot too.
Yeah.
And since we're being open in this conversation, trying to get this awareness out, I'm gonna pitch this to both of you. What's a situation where you two have been hurt by what you're doing now in your current off careers rather than your everyday work?
Oh man, I'll start on that one. Well, the one thing that really hurt, man, because I used to live in Panama City. It's a very, very tiny spot, and not a lot of content creators. I'm sure there's a lot more in Mobile. It's a little bit of a bigger town. And right now I'm in Tampa, and there's a lot of them. I'm trying to reach out to a lot of them, and yeah, it's a different environment. But anyways, where I was from, it was not that many people doing things. There was one person might have broke dance, and it might have been 5 rappers and a couple singers. But there wasn't a lot of podcasters. I started a podcast 2 years ago, and as soon as I started it, of course, you know how that wave goes. A lot of people fall behind. But one thing that did hurt me the most was I did start a podcast with 2 other gentlemen, and it was, you know how that goes sometimes. Oh, we should do it this way, we should do it that way, and then one day we just have a falling out, and then they started, and they're just like, come on, man, I started this podcast stuff. And this is what I get, like, I mean, I don't know, even if you disagree with somebody or if you have a falling out, which it wasn't real beef like that, nobody wanted to hurt each other or nothing, but like, that feeling of when you start something for the first time, that people see for the first time, it's something different for other people, and then the people that were branched on to you want to just, you know what, not only am I going to do one thing, but I think I could do it better than you, and I'm going to take all the stuff I created with you. And that's one big thing that's always hurt me. Like, come on, man, if you need any help, I can help you out, and we can collaborate, do things, but don't take what I've built and just leave and do your own thing. I don't know. I've always had a distaste for anybody that does that.
Right. It's kind of like a form of leeching, to be quite frank with you. I hate to, no disrespect to the gentleman, but that's exactly what it is. That's a very parasitic activity. But to reflect what happened to me, I was a little more intricate. This is where numbers kind of told the story, and I'll explain. So Like I said, I frequently do interviews, one-on-ones with people that I think are just extraordinary. And one of my great friends, his name is Jamie Miller. He's a police officer. Jamie is not even 30 yet, and he's seen a disturbing amount of things. And I just wanted to talk to him about it. And to this day, it's probably my second highest podcast episode as far as listens. So it brought a lot of people to the table to, see, what 2020 is about. And the very next episode, I got probably double the amount of shares I would normally do. So I decided to go and look and see how many people actually listened. And I probably shouldn't have. And out of about, I think it was 75 shares, only 6 people actually listened to the episode. And that just floored me. Because I'm one of those people, I want to know, how interactive are you with my product? I want to see, are you just passing the buck, or are you really vested? And this was a topic that I had invested hours of research in, brought doctors on. In fact, the interview was with an actual psychologist. And it was shared 75 times, but only 6 people listened to it. And that just...
I just listened to what Ian said about the leeching thing. And a lot of you know my story of where I came from with this, where Fandoms originated from and how it was brought about. But I think I've dealt with the blow of a lot of things when it comes to my actual content, putting it out there, wondering if people are watching, wondering if people are engaged. One of the issues that I've always run into are false supporters, people who, I like what you're doing over there. Okay, what am I doing? Your channel thing. Okay, tell me more. I run into that a lot. I run into that I think I run into it too much. Don't say you like what I'm doing if you really don't know what I'm doing. Now, if you just hit the share button, that's fine. I accept that too. Just like a store says, we accept all debit, credit, EBT, and even tips. I accept that. But don't show a false flag of support. Don't wave that, hey, I'm here for you. Good job, buddy. You can't even tell me what my job was or what I did. And I think all of us have experienced that over time and what we do. It can be crippling sometimes. It makes you not want to do what you're doing anymore. When I go to conventions, I do a podcast. I do a presentation called What It Takes to Be a YouTuber. Now, Jeremy, you've set in on that. Give some. I'm gonna say this, and I want to hear from you. When I go in there, I'm looking to teach, I'm looking to inspire, and I'm looking to give insight to people on what it takes to do this. That's right. What I'm doing. Now, I'm not giving the whole tricks of the trade, because what one person might do might be different from the next person. What the next person might do might be different from that person, and so on and so forth. You get the picture.
Absolutely. When I sat in and... Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was saying that when I came in, because I came in a little early. When I came in, everyone was kind of nervous, didn't know what to expect. I knew, who was coming and who was teaching, so I was just peeping the scene. And the way you did it, like you said, it was informational. It's like you did what the adage says. You taught the men how to fish rather than give them the fish. You taught them what tools they needed, what they need to look out for, where they can find the equipment with a shoestring budget. That way there's no excuse. You taught them, showed them editing software they could buy for pennies on the dollar. You made it very plain, quite honestly, and there's nothing wrong with it. In my fraternity, there's a saying that there's a dignity in simplicity, and that's exactly what you did. And you kept it rolling. You kept everyone engaged. You made sure you maintained eye contact, and if they had a question, you stopped immediately and addressed it, and then proceeded forward. So that's honestly, it was quite astounding. I'll be honest with you, I learned a lot as far as content ID. I even downloaded some of the programs you recommended. So I loved it. I thought it was exceptional. You definitely put the power in their hands to control how their channel will go.
I'm glad you said those words, and I appreciate it. And to take your last statement, and this is something that we have all been trying to get out when it comes to support. All we're trying to do is put something in the hands and in the minds of the people that we know, to empower them, to give them information, to start conversations, to put them in the mindset of what's out there. We're trying to be the vehicle, but nobody will drive us. Nobody will crank up our car. They'll go ahead and get that Ferrari, which might be that YouTuber that they know. Or they'll get that Porsche, which would be that celebrity that they know. They'll drive that all day. But they won't drive the 98 4Runner, that's just still going, still chugging along. Might not be at its best, but still getting there. Trying to still travel down the beaten path. I don't think people really understand what they do when they don't support, or what they do when they support only when it's convenient for them. And give me some thoughts on support as a whole, what you're looking for people, looking for from people in your community with what you do, and how you would want it to get better. And the same question to you, Jeff.
Listen, everything when it comes to my content with growth, it was all about support when it came to like people doing similar things to mine. My fans might see something that they like from like Malcolm or Jeremy and stuff like that, and they're like, okay, there's nothing wrong with supporting both. We especially if we're doing the most similar things. So my growth has always been with the great collaborations that I've done, and not only does it help grow my channel, but it helps me grow as a content creator. Like I'll learn some things just observing, because I love to observe and ask questions and stuff like that. And it puts back in the fun in doing this thing, because we're all on the same team. And when you're doing content, whether it be a podcast or a YouTube thing or what have you, if you're not having fun doing it, man, I wouldn't even suggest doing it. So it definitely puts, when you're around like-minded people, it does put the fun back into things. So that always lifts my spirit when I'm around other content creators. And the more the merrier. If you're listening, please reach out to me. I'd love to see what you got going on. I'd love to collaborate as well. I just think we all just need to, no matter what's going on when it comes to our friends or family or even these strangers, and we need to keep each other accountable and be family, help each other out. And I appreciate all the help that you've given, and I'm going to reach out to this brother too on the phone as well. And yeah, I'm loving it, and I actually could do better as well. Malcolm has shared so much of my things, and I've not even given him the equal amount myself, so I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to start sharing more, not even just his stuff, but a lot of my content creator friends. I could do better. So I know the struggle, obviously.
Right. And I think, and kudos to you for being transparent and taking that step of accountability for yourself and admitting that, because it takes a big person to do that. It's really hard for people to take a step back and review themselves and admit something like that. So more power to you for that, brother. And
absolutely.
Yes, sir. And as for myself, I just want you to invest the same energy that, like Malcolm said, when you see Tony Baker got something new out, to hear more, or Kev on stage, just treat me the same way. I work just as hard, on this content. I invest, not as much money because I haven't gotten there yet, but that's another topic. But it's with the same passion that they have, the same love that they put into their work. I'm doing just as much. And so I need that same love that you're providing them, and they're complete strangers. That's the kicker to me. If they saw you on the street, they wouldn't know your name. Right. But here I am, someone close to you, someone who interacts with you, someone who will approach you directly and ask you how you're doing. I'm asking for that support. And as far as these group of brothers here, I look forward to working with both of you more. Malcolm, you already know. But Ian, I see none but opportunities for us, brother. I'd love to get you on a business minute so we could talk about the Controversity channel, and we'll collab. Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
We're going to make this happen.
Absolutely.
As for me, all I'm looking for is the same, just like Jeremy just said, the same attention that you give to those major celebrities, those other content creators. We work hard at what we do. To you, it might not seem like it, but we do. We put a lot into it. We put a lot of thought into it. We put a lot of time into it. We sacrifice a lot. That's something that Ian demonstrated in his video. And that's just like Jeremy just said, something about money. That's sacrificial. That's something for another vital conversation. But we sacrifice more than you do, more than you think we do, in what we do. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes money. It takes ideas. It takes a mental capacity to put this type of stuff out and to make it prosperous and to make it successful.
Right.
All we want is that same recognition at the end of the day. That recognition equals support. And we're not looking for false recognition. We're looking for genuine recognition, genuine support, genuine realness from you all. And there are a lot of people that might listen to this, and a lot of people that might not listen to it. But for those that do, if you know somebody that does some type of creativity, whether it could be your hairdressers, your business owners, your content creators, your podcasters, whatever, show them some support. Show them some support. That's all we're saying. Well, we're going to wrap this up, man. Ian, let everybody know they can find you at.
Man, you can find me at youtube.com/thecontroversity, or you can find me at YouTube, not YouTube, I just said that one, facebook.com/thecontroversity, or you can find me on Twitter at I_controversity, and one more, the_controversity on Instagram. So yeah, just look Controversy up on all the platforms, and you'll see my handsome face.
My man Jeremy, where can everybody find you at?
Hey, man, you can find me at iHeartRadio. Search for 20/20 podcast. Find us on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. If you got a podcast app, we in there. And one more thing. Before I say my last piece, I just want to share something with the world, Malcolm, if I will. I was listening to an album today, a throwback album, ATLians by Outkast. And I was listening to the song, yes, indeed, a classic. I was listening to the song Me and You before we started recording today, and it was a little bit of Andre 3000's verse that caught my heart. And I'm going to recite it really quick just to kind of give a summarization of what we're talking about. And I replied that I had been going through the same things that he had. True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me. To the end of the week, I live by the beat like you live check to check. If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. 3,000.
3,000. Amen.
Well, definitely, guys. But you guys know where we can find us. We are SANDOMSANONYMUS all over social media. Right here on YouTube. We're on Facebook as well. We're all over. Hit that like, hit that share button. Got a lot of amazing things coming up. Don't forget, in November, we're going to New Orleans. We're going to the NO, baby. We're going to New Orleans to Big Easy Con 2019. We will be live in the Facebook. Before that, we'll be in Dothan, Alabama in October at Fanaticon. So check us out. We're on the website in the group section already. So we're out there. So Hope you guys enjoyed this conversation today. And as always, we'll see you in another video.